Hey, everybody. I'm Mitch. Welcome back to Behind the Hedges. Tonight, we're talking Florida Gators football. But before we get to that, let's get to this.
I wake up every minute with the fever dreams. I push my mind to a limit where it needs to be. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm thinking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be.
You like the new tunes?
I do, man. Yeah, where'd you get that from?
Oh gosh, I talked about it on a couple of streams ago. We got dinged for a copyright strike
I
on
saw
the old
that.
song, which was supposed to be royalty free, and maybe it is. But I was like, man, screw this! I don't have time to go fight these people, and so I just went to the YouTube music archive, and for whatever reason, the title of this one caught my eye. It was a "Manifest It," I think was the name of the song, and I just said, all right, click that, and it was a banger. So
Yeah,
I was
banger,
like,
I
all
like
right, let's use that one. And,
The logo could be better, but the music's
so, yeah.
good.
Yeah, you know what? Why don't you go on and make your own logo? All right. So here we go. We've said it before. Florida's going to look a lot different. Now, you guys are. I want to say some stuff here. I was very critical of the Gators' recruiting efforts under Mullen, sort of at large, but particularly at the end of Mullen's time. When you say Mullen checked out, I wonder if he ever checked in. The guy just didn't get it, man. And like as an enemy dog, whatever. I'm looking at this thinking, man, this is the best possible scenario. I hope these guys, chain his ankles to the stadium and never let him go. You know what I mean? Like we love Dan Mullen because we knew that Dan Mullen would beat us once every so many years, but would never be able to beat us consistently. Right? That he just was not that guy. And so we're sad to see him go. Back to the recruiting thing, though. You guys had some Napier comes in. He's got some scrambling to do. He's got to sort of put a Band-Aid on this gunshot wound, so to speak. And talk a little bit about how he did that, and I guess to what degree he was successful.
Yeah,
in your eyes?
So early on, when pretty much in his first week of being announced, he made the decision to stick around at Louisiana and coach in the Sun Belt Conference game, and that was a sort of a mixed decision. Some people felt like, hey, screw your old school, come here and hit the ground running. Personally, I felt like it's a bit of an integrity move. I feel like if you're a coach and you're going in front of parents and coaches and mentors and you're saying, I have your kid's best interest at heart, it'd probably be pretty easy for Kirby Smart to come behind you and say, yeah, but he bailed on his team in their biggest game of their careers. How can that be? So, I feel like it's a bit of a double-edged sword. Maybe with an extra week, we could have held on to a couple other guys. By and large, I would say in terms of recruiting, misses or I'll do the misses before the arrivals. Isaiah Bond, I think, is going to be an absolute stud.
Who's that again? Say that again.
Isaiah Bond.
Okay.
He's a wide
Buford.
receiver. Yep. Yeah. He was committed to us for a while. There's kind of conflicting reports that he was already kind of on his way out before Mullen left. When he was fired, it was kind of an easy decision for him. I think that dude is going to be the next Jalen Waddle. He tore it up in all of the All-American games. He's looked great in film.
Buford just churns them out, dude. They're a factory.
So Nick Evers, that's an interesting story that I won't get into now, but maybe when we have more time. He was kind of the quarterback for our class. He kind of was the leader of the class. So the story is that Napier and his staff requested a workout video from the commits before they reoffered them. Apparently, some of them didn't like that. I don't know the validity of this. This is all message board kind of backhand information here. As far as I'm concerned, if a 17, 18-year-old's having the chance to go play for a school and the coach says, yeah, send me a video of you doing some drills, and you don't want to do it,
that's
whatever. Right. Yeah, you will cut that loss. But we held on to Chris McClellan, who was a top 100 4-star Under Armour All-American guy at defensive line. We held on to some other kind of lower ranked recruits, but the big guy that we managed to reel in was Kamari Wilson, 5-star safety from Fort Myers IMG Academy. And then we actually managed to get Shamar James back into the class. He seemed to be heading either the Georgia or Bama. And
we had claws in both those guys. We were really excited about hauling those guys in.
Yeah. So, supposedly Kamari had already had a commitment video to Georgia shot and was ready to go. So being able to reel both of those guys in pretty short notice definitely had a lot of the fan base buzzing about what was coming, because everybody points to the decommits, and when we plummeted down to the 70s, and it was just dark days. A lot of people, myself included, I think I think most of those commits would have stuck. Guys like Chandler Smith, guys like Jaden Gibson, they both had Jarrett Gibbs. They all had serious knee injuries in high school, which was a recurring theme with Mullen. Going back to his recruiting, if you go back and look at his first class, so he had 3 top 10 classes in a row. By most school standards, that'd be acceptable. 3 top 12 or so, that'd be good. For Florida, you're not going to catch Georgia and Bama with top 10 classes. So going back to that 2018 class, the biggest signee we have was this guy named Chris Still. And before he ever even made it to fall camp, he transferred to USC because there was some issues with his roommate that he had already voiced he didn't want to be his roommate. Then this guy gets in trouble for some girl issues, and his family's like, dude, you told the coach you didn't want to be there. Now you're involved in this stuff. Just get out. So he left. He was the highest rated recruit in that class.
I remember when that happened. Yeah.
We also had a number of guys. So that's 2 recruits right there. Our quarterback, Jalen Jones, who's actually at Jackson State now, or was. I'm not sure if he graduated. Chris Steele. 3 of our offensive linemen never made it to campus. One of them had visa issues from the Bahamas. All these things that on paper the class, it looks respectable enough, but when you kind of dig your teeth into it, you realize that half the class doesn't even make it to campus, or a third of the class. Then the next year, kind of cleaned up a little bit on that. And it really wasn't until Gervin Dexter, the 3rd recruiting class. Gervin Dexter was our only 5-star signee. Yep. And he's a stud. I mean, he's going to be probably an all SEC player, but that's just, again, not just going to cut it. Yeah. Thankfully, Napier seems to live and breathe recruiting season. So
I messaged you earlier, Patrick. I was trying to get you on the show, buddy.
So that's the big thing, is recruiting season never ends, and it's from recruits, reporters, coach's own mouth. He seems to live and breathe that. So that's a big breath of fresh air for us. So coming back to our recruiting class this year, we need some skill players. We're hoping maybe the guys we have on campus, the biggest problem is Mullen tended to like big, tall, big body receivers.
Yeah, sure.
Which is funny considering Kadarius Toney's the best one we had, but that's mostly that's mostly what he recruited. So we have a bunch of 6'4" receivers that run like 4.6, 5.40s.
Kind of the Clemson pattern.
Yeah.
Hey, I totally get it, brother. I totally get it, man.
It's no thing. Man.
I'm happy to hang out with my boy Ethan here. Just the 2 of us, right? No drama. Everybody's being real chill.
No bickering.
I ain't had to mute not one person's microphone tonight.
There's the transfers that we got this year. Louisiana fans. So I told you I go off on tangents, but I'll try to keep it short. Louisiana fans were really very happy to see Napier make this step up, and that had nothing to say but good things to say about him. Right up until we took half of their staff, and then probably their 4 best players.
There was a lot of salt. There was a high sodium content.
I guess they would rather see Osiris Torrance go to the NFL than follow his coach to the SEC. I don't know. I'm glad he made the decision he did. They also had a freshman running back, Montrell Johnson, who rushed for almost 1,000 yards as a true freshman for Louisiana. He transferred. Um, a guy that's kind of under the radar, his name is Cameron Waits, and I say under the radar because he was not a no, he would not. He was not a highly rated recruit. He was kind of one of those Louisiana specials, if you will.
Yeah.
But he's 6'8", 345, and he seems to be the next right tackle for Florida, kind of a Trent Brown, which worked out pretty well for us. So I think that the 2022 class, everybody kind of was happy with what we got. We missed on Harold Perkins at the end. We had a really good feeling about him, and then he ended up going to LSU. And then Trevante Citizen was a guy who supposedly committed to Billy Napier the morning of signing day and wanted to be guaranteed a starting spot. Wasn't given that. And then I don't know if you've seen his commitment video, but puts on the Auburn hat, and then he puts on the Florida hat, and then he puts on the Miami hat, and then he puts on the LSU hat, and then he throws it away and puts on the Miami hat. At that point, these guys, I'm happy for them, and I hope they have healthy long.
I love recruitment videos.
Man,
I love it.
The drama, it gets old after a while.
Who was it? Quay Walker, a guy linebacker. This one of our guys who's going into the draft this year. If I remember correctly, it was him who put on the it was either an Auburn or a Tennessee hat. And then I'm going to be, and then he took and threw it like
yeah.
I
miss the days
that had never landed.
I miss the days when they had live animals as props. The little Holyfield's little bulldog puppy. I don't remember who the guy was that had a little baby gator.
Yeah, you're right, Patty. That was the most disrespectful hat throw I've ever seen.
I don't know, man. Travis Hunter's was pretty good too. maybe I'm biased there.
No, you're right, boy. That was. We could do an entirely different show. We could end this show and just start a fresh stream and just talk about Travis Hunter for the rest of the night. I would love it. In fact, Warren mentioned something about that when it comes time, when all this is settled and we're looking for something to talk about. He said something about how Deion Sanders changed the rules or changed the game or something like that. He wants to talk about that, and I'm here to give him a platform.
I love recruiting. I follow it daily. I mean, we've been on commit watch from a guy who he's kind of publicly stated he wants to play for Corey Raymond. His name is AJ Harris, and he was visiting this weekend, and Napier tweeted out a sunglass emoji, which is supposed to be his little bat signal for a commit. All the reporters put in predictions for it, and apparently that pissed him off. And I don't know. It's all just too much drama for me. I got to take a step back from it. It's March, and I'm already tired of it. But recruiting season, man, I'm out of shape. It's. So real quick, before we go on to the next segment, departures. Jacob Copeland is going to Maryland. Gerald Mincy transferred to Tennessee. Who else? I can't. Emory Jones is transferring.
Hold on a second now. Are you sure about that? 24/7 transfer portal. I mean, we got to keep people in line. We can't allow irresponsible, reporting and whatnot.
What are we talking about? Emory Jones?
I need to see it. I want to see it on.
Yeah, no, he actually just put his name in this week, or maybe last week.
Emory Jones, 319. Yep. So actually 3 days ago, immediate eligibility. 95.87. Tyron Hopper is also.
Tyron Hopper, Chris Vogel.
Tyron Hopper is going to Missouri to play on a team where there's already a Tyrone Hopper,
who is his brother.
Did not know that part.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And supposedly, message board rumors, part of the reason he transferred was because his brother previously played for North Carolina whose defensive coordinator, as mentioned earlier, was Jay Bateman, who is the new linebackers coach in Florida. So people are kind of on. I think out of our staff, Kerry Colbert and Jay Bateman are the two that people kind of aren't fully bought into yet. I think Kerry Colbert, he got Brew McCoy to come to USC from Texas. Drake London is going to be a top 10, top 20 NFL draft pick. Amon-Ra St. Brown has been balling out. So, he has a decent track record, but I think recruiting is kind of where people still have some question marks. And Chris Bogle went to Michigan State, and Mamu Diabate transferred to Utah. And,
oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
They will like him.
Yes,
I think he will do well for them.
In terms of transfers, the only one to me that really kind of stings is Hopper. Grantham's defense, their recruiting philosophy, if you can even call it that, they recruit a lot of tweeners, a lot of buck linebackers that are edge rusher / linebackers, so they don't really have. So Mamu Diabate was like 6'1", like 210, playing middle linebacker in the SEC. And if you get a chance, look at that LSU game where they ran guard tackle traps on us all game and just trucked him into the ground. Yeah.
So it's tricky because like those kinds of guys always have like really good numbers.
Yeah.
Right? They make a lot of tackles, but they're making tackles 12 yards down.
Yeah, exactly. So, part of that was Ventrell Miller, who was all SEC, preseason all SEC, tore his bicep in the second game of the year. And he was, without a doubt, the defensive leader, the clear linebacker. He was the guy that really was holding our defense together. When he went down, nobody really stepped up for him, but he came back for his 6th year, so he's going to be hopefully our middle linebacker. And we have some guys that are interesting that I think will be better fits. Man, these guys love bowling. I swear, rent free, man. That's all I can say. But yeah, the only one that really stings to me is Hopper. I think he would have been our starting middle linebacker next to Ventrell Miller. Other than that, Bogle, we have a ton of defensive ends. Diabate, he kind of was a tweener, so it's kind of a meh. Mincy wasn't even a starter on our offensive line, so if he got. Maybe he balls out for Tennessee. I don't know, but he wasn't really a good recruit. Never really got on the field, so he's kind of a whatever to me. Really, the only one that matters is Anthony Richardson in my book. As long as he's wearing orange and blue, we have hope. If he transferred, and that's the thing that
What if he goes to Auburn?
Yeah, well, that's the thing I told everybody during the offseason is like, honestly, we could lose anybody else on our team, but we can't lose a guy who shows so much potential from Gainesville, appears to be possibly, the next great Florida quarterback based off of potential, not off of production. So he has high expectations. He's a local kid. So if he would have left, he's the face of the program right now. Gervin Dexter's our best player. Anthony Richardson isn't our best player, but he may be. But he is, without a doubt, the guy that's going to put our asses in the seats.
Gotcha. Hey, I want to take us out now, and but when we come back, we're going to talk about expectations, and I'm really excited about this one.
Let's do it.
So stick around.